What do you know about the myth of King Midas? Most of us are familiar with the phrase the Midas touch, but where did the phrase originate from, and what was the story behind a saying that depicts luck? Well, the Midas touch was never about luck. It's a perversion of the moral of the story of King Midas. See, Midas was a wealthy and powerful ruler of Phrygia, and he was known for his love of gold. He valued it above everything else. So one day, Dionysus, the god of wine, revelry, and theater, was passing through Midas's kingdom when his companion Silenus got lost and wandered into Midas's rose garden. Silenus didn't get lost. He was hammered out of his skull. Remember, Dionysus is the god of wine and revelry, which makes every day a party. Silenus either passed out in the rose garden or wandered off and may have been found by some Phrygian peasants who carried him back to King Midas. And regardless, Midas recognized him and treated him hospitably, entertaining Silenus for 10 days and 10 nights, while Silenus delighted Midas and his friends with stories and songs. On the 11th day, Midas took Silenus back to Dionysus and Lydia. Dionysus had grown worried about his old friend's absence and was very grateful for Midas's kindness towards his companion and offered him any reward he desired. And without hesitation, Midas asked that everything he touched be turned to gold. Dionysus realized the potential for the consequences of this wish, but granted Midas's wish anyways. And at first, Midas was overjoyed. He touched a branch and it transformed into gold. He touched a stone, golden nugget. He rushed back to his place and touched everything in sight, turning furniture, walls, and even the ground into gold. There is nothing in the texts that even talks about what if he had touched himself. I don't mean in like a perverted way, like his leg or his arm or scratched his eye with those things, or was he immune to his own touch? Kind of interested in that. Anyways, Midas soon realized the terrible consequences of his wish. He tried to eat, but the food in his hand turned to gold before he could take a bite. He tried to drink, but the wine became gold and undrinkable. Soon after, his daughter came to him crying that she missed the sweet smell of the roses in the garden, and he instinctively embraced her and watched in horror as she turned into a solid gold statue. Distraught and realizing the folly of his wish, Midas begged Dionysus to take back the golden touch. Dionysus took pity on him and instructed Midas to wash himself in the Pactolus River. Then, whatever he put into the water would be reversed of the touch. I'm pretty sure that you're not going to be able to take everything back to the river, as it were. So maybe you got a bucket and then washed everything, or who knows. Anyways, Midas did so, and when he touched the waters, the power flowed into the river, and the river sands turned into gold. And this explains why the river Pactolus was so rich in gold and electrum. But the story doesn't end there. Midas, after he was relieved of the golden touch, he developed an affinity for the god Pan, the god of the wild, shepherds, and rustic music. Pan was known for playing the pipes. Midas, now quote-unquote hating wealth and splendor, he wasn't really, moved to the country and became a worshiper of Pan. Roman mythographers asserted that Pan's tutor in music was Orpheus. And one day, a musical contest was held between Pan and Apollo, the god of music, poetry, and light. Immolus, a mountain god, was chosen as the judge, because of course he was. Apollo played his lyre with divine skill, producing beautiful and harmonious melodies. Pan played his pipes, creating wild and rustic tunes. Immolus judged Apollo the clear winner, a decision that was accepted by all except Midas. Midas, who was enamored with Pan's rustic music, vehemently disagreed with the judgment and declared Pan the victor. Apollo, who was angered by Midas's poor taste and his audacity to challenge his divine judgment, because gods are petty and narcissistic, punished Midas by giving him donkey's ears, ass ears, good old ass ears. Midas was humiliated by his transformation and tried to hide his ears under a large Phrygian cap. However, when ass ears needed to have his hair cut, he needed a barber to cut his hair, and every barber that can cut his hair was killed to keep ass ears secret. And then one day there was a barber that refused to cut ass ears' hair and swore an oath to not reveal Midas's secret. So the barber couldn't tell anyone directly, but the secret was too much to bear, so he went to a field, dug a hole in the ground, whispered the secret into it, and then covered it with earth. Reeds eventually grew in that spot, and when the wind blew through them, they whispered the secret, King Midas has donkey ears. Again, good old ass ears. Some sources, such as Plutarch, say that Midas committed suicide by drinking bull's blood, a powdered crystal substance which was used in the ancient world as pigment for red paint and was very toxic due to its high level of arsenic. Actually, what had happened was King Midas, who ruled Phrygia in the late 8th century up until the sacking of Gordium by the Cimmerians, committed suicide when his kingdom was destroyed. Most historians believe that this attack happened between 695 BC and 676 BC. Archaeology has confirmed that Gordium was destroyed and burned around that time. The story of the Golden Touch begins with Midas' hospitality towards Silenus, who is a satyr and companion of Dionysus. The act of kindness sets the stage for the granting of the Golden Touch, and Dionysus' offer to grant Midas any wish is a classic motif in mythology, often used to explore human desires and their potential consequences. Midas' choice to wish for the ability to turn everything he touches into gold reveals his deep-seated greed and his prioritization of material wealth above all else. And this sets the stage for the tragic irony that follows. The initial joy Midas experiences with his newfound power quickly turns to horror as he realizes its practical implications. The inability to eat or drink transforms his gift into a curse, which highlights the dangers of unchecked desire and the importance of considering the full consequences of one's wishes. The most poignant moment is the transformation of his daughter into a golden statue. This illustrates the devastating impact of greed not only in the individual but also on their loved ones, emphasizing the importance of human connection over material possessions. The intervention of Dionysus and the solution of washing in the Pactolus River offers a sense of redemption. Midas learns a valuable lesson about the true value of life and the dangers of greed, and the story also provides a mythical explanation for the gold found in the Pactolus River, linking the myth to real-world geography and economy of the region. The mention of Midas discovering black and white lead, likely referring to lead and tin or other metals, adds another layer to his association with wealth and resources, which possibly suggests a historical basis for the legend. The Midas touch becomes a powerful metaphor for the dangers of greed and the unintended consequences of pursuing material wealth above all else. It serves as a reminder that true happiness lies not in possessions, but in experiences, relationships, and the appreciation of life's simple pleasures. The story's enduring popularity speaks to its timeless relevance and its ability to resonate with audiences across cultures and generations. The story of Midas' donkey years, which often follows the Golden Touch narrative, shifts the focus from greed to poor judgment and artistic taste. Midas' newfound devotion to Pan, the god of the wild and rustic music, sets him in opposition to Apollo, the god of refined music and poetry and light. The musical contest between Pan and Apollo provides a clear contrast between those two types of music, with Imalus's judgment favoring Apollo's more sophisticated style. Midas' disagreement with the divine judgment and his declaration of Pan as the victor reveal his lack of discernment and his arrogance in challenging divine authority, which is dumb. Apollo's punishment, the granting of donkey ears, is a fittingly ironic consequence. Donkey ears are traditionally associated with foolishness, ignorance, and a lack of refinement, symbolizing Midas' poor taste and his inability to appreciate true artistic merit. The story of the barber and the whispering reeds adds a further layer to the myth. The barber's inability to keep the secret, despite his oath, illustrates the difficulty of suppressing embarrassing or shameful truths. The reeds whispering King Midas has donkey ears is a clever way of showing how secrets can be revealed in unexpected ways, even when attempts are made to conceal them. The myth of the donkey ears serves as a cautionary tale. It's about the importance of humility, good judgment, and respecting established authority, particularly in matters of art and culture. Look, everyone's a critic. Critics don't like certain things, and artists don't like critics. It also explores the theme of secrets and their inevitable discovery. Together with the Golden Touch story, it paints a complete picture of Midas as a king who, despite his wealth and power, was ultimately undone by his own flaws. I don't think being a critic of Apollo is a flaw. The detail about Plutarch mentioning Midas' suicide by drinking bull's blood adds a darker, more tragic dimension to his story. It suggests that Midas, unable to bear the shame and humiliation of his donkey years, ultimately chose to end his own life. This ending underscores the devastating consequences of his actions and his inability to learn from his mistakes. It also provides a stark contrast to the slightly more hopeful ending of the Golden Touch myth, where he finds redemption through Dionysus' intervention. The mention of the wealth of the Lydian dynasty and their claim of descent from Midas adds a historical text to the myth. It suggests that the story may have originated as a way to explain the region's prosperity and to legitimize rule of its king. By associating themselves with the legendary King Midas, the Lydian rulers could enhance their own status and authorities. The combination of the mythical narratives with historical context makes the story of Midas a rich and complex cultural artifact. It serves not only as a cautionary tale about human flaws, but also as a window into the beliefs, values, and historical context of ancient Greece and Phrygia. The enduring popularity of the Midas myth is a testament to their timeless relevance and their ability to resonate with audiences across cultures and throughout history.